This is the place where God
This
turns pain
is
into
the
purpose.
place where God turns pain
Welcome
into purpose.
to the van.
Welcome to the van, to the van.
Good day, everyone. It is the Valley episode 4. We are so excited to have you here. Please excuse my voice. I've been sick since Sunday. The boys were sick, and it spread to me. But now I am better. I'm better. Thank you for being with us this morning, evening, or afternoon. I am here with the co-host, unrelenting beauty, incomparable, exquisite, excellent, majestic lady, mother of the nations. Her name is Koki. Great stuff. And today, we are, just to recap, actually, last week we were speaking about marriage, but how our background had actually affected the covenant. And we spoke mostly just on her end in terms of family background and how I had to receive it, but also lead the family. Didn't do perfectly, but I tried. Dizame.
So Sandra, so take.
Ganton namhlanje.
You got banged. You feeling good?
Yeah.
Okay. But this week I think the focus will be on more of the husband side of things. Just how was it being on the receiving end of all of that? How did you navigate that?
Sure.
And where did you go? And how did God show up in the time of your valley?
Yeah, man. So, I think this is something that I relate to, not just to myself, but many husbands I have conversations with. When a husband feels like there's too much. Let me say, when a man feels like there's too much pressure, we're always looking for outlets.
Can I ask you a
think
question?
that's for all humans. Yeah.
Where was your first example of a husband? Earliest memory of a husband?
Earliest with Uncle Mark.
Okay.
I was a kid, and Uncle Mark was my friend's dad. I called him dad as well. So I think grade 4, I saw the husband, because my parents only got married when I was in matric, so 2015.
Okay. And what are your memories from Uncle Mark? This is what a husband is. Because I think it's important to understand your framework, and then now we're gonna also look at your wife's expectation and maybe how those two clashed or maybe jowled.
Yeah, I think for Uncle Mark, it wasn't necessarily I saw him as I couldn't differentiate, because I didn't, so I couldn't see the difference. I just saw a man that loved God, loved his family, and did it well. And so whenever I entered that home, I felt like, I'm just part of the family. So I didn't see the husbandhood, and I didn't see the difference. I just saw how he interacted with us all. So from Robin to Ash to Auntie Karen, and just navigating all that with other friends as well. And he was also serving at church. I think he still is. And I think, so seeing that, I just saw a man doing wholesome things, being a wholesome person. So that was my first example. But I think if you had to compare, I don't think you'd be doing it justice. I think because I was young and I got married young, and then I had twins, I think our thing was very much different. Because by that time, it wasn't just Uncle Mark. My reference wasn't just Uncle Mark. It was many other men, including my dad, including some of my uncles, including many of my friends that are a bit older. So I think for me in my end, navigating everything was a mixed bag of just not just experience, but the things that I listened to, books I read, meditations I had, prayer. So yeah.
So okay, now with all the men that you have seen in your life, what was the expectation that you had on yourself as you're about to get married? That okay, as for me
and my house,
this is the type of husband
we will serve the Lord.
Yes, that too. This is the type of husband I'm gonna be like. What was the bar? Was that bar?
Yeah, I think for me it was just I think because of that time we were in, I think it was just provision, and most of it was just financial because imali bingekho. So I was in a quest of making a lot of money, lots of money. So I think that was the bar. I think also just spiritually, just make sure we prayed and we were centered in God's word. But you talk about intentionality, I think I had great intentions, but the actions behind it wasn't as much, especially the more spiritual side. Because the pressure was just, masekuthandaza masisebenze ngoku. But yeah.
Okay. Then what did you sense was the expectation of your wife?
Yeah, I think the love, the romance, especially the romance, Oh, but also a big thing, maybe you should have highlighted it last week, but the effect of social media on you and therefore on us.
How does social media?
Oh, definitely. Like you had not a whole lot, but you had expectations of how our love would look like, and I saw how you put that on me. So I think I even took some of that on. I was like, oh man, it's supposed to look like this, and so if more aslamali, it's not gonna look like that,
I don't think, Stanley, it's as much as you think social media, like in terms of like
so social media, TV, and all those things combined, not just social media.
So remember, I was telling you before we were talking that my expectations were you to fill a void. So I think most of the things came from that, and maybe social media gave me a language, or like, oh, that's how I can fill that void by doing this thing. So it wasn't necessarily about the things, but it always came back to, I expected for you to be able to fill all the voids that I had, and then I was just given language into it. Yeah, I guess.
And which was not great language as well.
It wasn't, because it was so out of our own context and very far from where we were.
Yeah. So I think that's the void. I think also in my end, I also expected the voids to be filled, especially the intimacy void. I think growing up as an only child, there's a lot of intimacy you have, or don't have the opportunity to have, because we're feeling weird one. So a lot of things you don't get. So hence I grew up with a lot of friends, but there was still an aspect. I was like, ish man, I want intimacy with this lady. So when I met you, I was extremely intimate, emotionally. That's But I think when we got married, when the pressure came in, just I think that just shut, and I was just in the thing of, oh, my sense imali, oh, let's do this, let's make sure it's right. And I think I lost a part of myself. So a mix of your background and traumas, a mix of mine, a mix of expectations. And I think that's genuinely and generally what the human experience is. People don't see what they see. It's actually from their perspective of what they've gone through.
Amazing. I think because we're talking about the valley and the people that will be watching, for someone who may be there now, where hey, they got into this thing and it's not what they expected, and now they are being thrown curveballs, and they can feel a part of themselves disappearing because they don't know how to be present as holistic beings. Glendo, that's seemingly like a lot to handle. Like, what would you have done, and what kind of would you advise for husbands that, or not even just husbands, but for people who are entering into that are so high pressure that you're like, ooh, it's rubbing me ngendlela I don't maybe have the tools right now to deal with, or don't have the language to say what's happening.
Sure.
But obviously now, because you have the review hindsight, yes, you have that hindsight to be like, oh, actually this is what was happening to me, and what could you have done to maybe not make that process as punitive as it was, or just handle it in a better way for yourself?
Yeah, I think for me it would be having more intentional conversations. So for me, I think if I had to sit down with you more and lead you into better conversations, I think when we entered conversations at times, it was very much guarded. So sometimes disarming you, disarming myself, saying, hey man, this is just a genuine talk.
That's very good.
Let me take you out, let's make a few jokes, 1, 2, 3, then we talk about the real stuff,
Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
We were cancelled with Londo. Was it a matter of you weren't ready to receive that cancel? Because it wasn't like you were not told to do that.
It takes a lot, man. I think that even before you're making the joke and whatever, in the state that the person was in or I was in, to get to that point, even I'm just in the point where my cup is very much empty. So to even step up to that plate and be like, hey man, mas and don't no, hey, I'm going into this conversation, that's tough. So having those conversations, but also having that conversation with yourself and other men. I think maybe I failed to do that, to be like, hey man, I'm going through this thing. What do you think? And mixed with that, I think counseling, if we had that opportunity, I think we would have definitely gone into counseling at a much earlier stage. So number 2, I would say become more vulnerable, not only with the people that you're being counseled by, but being vulnerable with yourself and having grace with yourself. Sometimes you can have these emotional outbursts that happen once a week as a man or twice a week, but sometimes going back and being like, hey man, when's again doing man, and really maybe writing it down or chatting to someone about it and having grace over yourself to be like, yeah, I'm a home to now, and say, hey man, I'm trying as a husband, I'm trying as a father, hey, but I'm just trying, and I'm not gonna get it perfect. And then just to wrap it off, is to be more grateful. I think at that time, because you want this, you want the next step, you want this, sometimes sitting down and being like, yo, actually, there's so much more to be grateful about. Then I'm complaining, like, you're complaining. I might not be complaining to you outwardly, but in Apagati, I'm always like, Lord, when is this coming? Tiko, yo, this thing, yo, So those are the 3 things I would say.
And I think also with the last point you're saying, because I would always say, we don't have to first have a car or a big house to experience ezozinto. And I think what you're highlighting is when you don't intentionally live a life of gratitude, you will find yourself in misery. It's not a thing you can avoid. You have to choose, but I'm gonna live ubomi that is actually grateful. Otherwise you'll find a million reasons to complain or not be content with ubomi bakho.
A mentor of mine once said, what you appreciate appreciates. Yeah, so the more you appreciate something, the more value it brings. So I come home, I think I said this last week, come home and say, hey, wife, hey, you cooked, you pekile, bra. The more she'll be like, oh yeah, you like that, the more it comes back to you.
Yeah. And so I want to then now speak about God, right? How has God, even in that valley you are in the pressure Ufumana as a man, as a husband, as a father of twin boys, in all of these circumstances, how have you now looking back, like, no man, that was God, that was the hand of God, whether it was through always, because you've never struggled with employment, whether it was through that, or just the community as well, you would know obviously because how have you seen God show up for you in this time, in this valley?
Yeah, I think as a man, it's very important, actually just as a believer, it's very important to know that God is not always operating in this mystic thing, especially in marriage or anything like that. It's like, oh, the hand of God is grace and it's this thing and it's invisible, but it's really the small things. So for instance, for me, God would be like, it make me turn into things that I would watch and listen to. So there were years, or even experiences, there were years where she will tell you, every day it's a book, every day it's an audio, it's a podcast, every day, Saturday, Sunday, in the bathroom, there's a podcast I'm listening to. So what God would do, it'd gear me up and get me more passionate about personal development. And that's the one thing I know for sure, that it brought me a lot of joy, but also it built me and equipped me. So when you talk leadership, when you talk about mindset, entrepreneurship, these are the things that since the age of 21, like I've put a lot of time in it. Why?
Because it's true.
It's like a lot of time. Like people wouldn't believe me. Like I'll be reading 3 books in 1 week, like crazy. 1 book in my PDF, 1 book at home, and 1 I'd carry texting food. And I think that's one of the things that God would do. Introduce me to a whole lot of personal development and other mentors that I have, even though I didn't know them, but to me they were mentors. Number 2, it brought me people because of that mindset that shifted me. I'd see myself applying into things that I never thought I would even make it. And I'd get into rooms that I never thought I'd wanna. And this is not like financial rooms and business rooms. I mean that, but it was also rooms where like, oh man, like these people are going through something that they had gone through before, that I'm going through now, but they've gone through before, and I can have genuine conversations with. So he introduced me to friends that are older than me, communities that are not just in the church, but outside the church more especially. And these people were people that helped me out a lot. I would cry to them, we'd go out, we'd chill, just talk, and they were really a safe space for me, because in a time where I just felt like I didn't have the emotional intimacy from when they gave me that space. What God also did was give us leaders that were very much invested in our journey, and not just us individually, but in our journey. And I say leaders because it wasn't just one person or two; it was few other people, including abazali bethu. And I think that's the biggest thing that also helped us. There were times where I grew up in this marriage, I took that for granted, the role of abazali bethu. And I think God blessed us with abazali and opening us up to great parents. The 4th, what God did was to intentionally put me in places where I had to look at my background, my hurts and my pains through you, but also through the experiences that I have, not only in jobs, not only leadership positions, but also in the things the people that I interacted with. I'll give you an example. We were selling insurance. I love this story. We were selling insurance 2.5 years selling insurance. But I tell you now, that experience is one of the biggest reasons as to why I've grown mentally, in terms of mindset, but endurance, but also it's one of the reasons why I can have conversations with people without any vasa or anything of like any expectation. It's a dope song. But yeah. So so I could have conversations with people without an expectation from this is what I'm gonna get. But really being so
like motives.
Yeah, like ulterior motives. Like I never had that. And not that I had it before, but I think what that experience did was introduce me to a whole lot of people. Knocking on their doors on a Sunday night, even like selling them insurance, crazy. Seeing different circumstances and seeing man, like I'm good, bro. Like the grand. 5th, this one is one of the biggest one. Living a life holistically in terms of my physical health. So she made me very much active. So I ran, did basketball, did a whole hiking. So anything active, I'm there. That fed a lot into the person that I am. It fed onto the younger me. Because growing up, I think I told you, I don't know if you know, but primary school, it was me and Farai. We'd play 8 or 9 sports in 1 year. Yeah, so we did hockey, chess, rugby, cross country, water polo, and some other things, squash, all these different things. And those for me were outlets. So those are the things, okay. Those are the things that poured into me.
You don't know about that.
No, man peg. Man peg. So yeah, those are the things that poured into me, and I say, yeah, for the men, find the thing, the healthy thing, because it's easy to find the.
Tell me, what was my question?
How did God show up? Yeah.
Oh, through this.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So even like on the real, bro, like I have conversations with T. It's like, no, run this way, run like this. Okay, I'll think about things at home. How do I come back and lead you better? And I come back strong.
I'm avoiding you, KG.
Okay. So yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I started this conversation. The city, God is not like always working in this mystic thing, but it's in the like physical things, like the actions. And this was like the actions and the things that you have to do. And so being faithful, even in the little things, in that run, the waking up at 4, the intentional you're tandile. But I'm done. That was.
This is Tanda. That was amazing. You are amazing. I think I had a question, but Ngoku it slipped my mind. Okay, no, that was good. Hot take for you?
Hot take is don't ever think God is too small for your situation or too big. It's very much intentional. So don't give up. It's very much, even in the small things, the small steps. I'm saying a lot. Even in the small steps, guys, it will. Looking back, it would. You'd be like, God, and go for that small thing, just that small thing. Like that run I used to take at 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm so grateful now.
Great. Well, that is it.
Aibo, what's your hot take?
My hot take. I think I was so distracted by you. Guys, like especially this jacket.
Okay, hot take.
I'm distracted, guys. Hot take. I think just to have more grace on you. You know that. Why not from Kyle?
No, from Kyle.
Just to have a bit more grace, and just to celebrate you more, because you've really come a long way as a husband, Tanda. Like, yeah, you weren't the best when you started, but you grew into it tremendously, and you've always had inhliziyo to do good, even when it didn't translate in your actions. So yeah, just more grace to celebrate you more. I am just so happy and so proud of where you are as a husband right now. You are doing great. If kind of
Sure, bro.
That's my hot take, guys. Until next time, we love you.
Love you, praying for you, and we hope you enjoyed this. Peace.